You already know something is off. Maybe you can feel it in the pit of your stomach when a conversation goes sideways and you don't even know how it happened. Maybe you replay arguments in your head at 2 in the morning, wondering what you should have said differently. Maybe the person you love most feels like a stranger sometimes, and the terrifying part is that you don't know when that distance started growing. That feeling right there, that quiet ache of disconnection, that is more common than you think, and today we are going to fix it. Before we go any further though, if you are serious about transforming not just how you communicate but how every relationship in your life actually feels, we have programs linked down below in the video description. People who have gone through them have reported dramatic shifts in their closest relationships within days, not months. Not everyone takes that step, and honestly that is fine. But the ones who do rarely look back. Just know it is there when you are ready. Now let us get into something that is going to change how you see every single conversation you have from this point forward. Here is what nobody tells you about communication. It is not about the words. You could say all the right words and still destroy a relationship. You could stumble over your sentences and still make someone feel the most love they have ever felt in their life. The difference is not vocabulary. The difference is not eloquence. The difference is presence and intention, and most people have never been taught either one. Think about the last time you felt truly heard. Not just listened to, truly heard, where someone made you feel like what you were saying mattered, like you mattered. How rare was that moment? If you are being honest with yourself, it was probably rare. And here is the hard truth. You are probably doing the same thing to the people around you without even realizing it. Not because you are a bad person, but because nobody ever showed you a different way. Research consistently shows that the #1 complaint in failing relationships, whether romantic, professional, or family-based, is that people feel unseen and unheard. Not that they fight too much. Not that they disagree on values. They feel invisible to the people they care about most. And that invisibility compounds over time like interest on debt you did not know you were accumulating. One day you wake up and the balance is overwhelming. Let me paint you a picture. You come home after a brutal day. Everything went wrong. You walk through the door and before you can even set your bag down, someone starts talking about their own problems. You smile and nod. You give the right sounds. But inside you are disappearing. You feel completely alone even though there is another person right next to you. That is the cost of poor communication habits, not the dramatic blowout fights, the slow erosion, the daily moments where connection was possible and it slipped through your fingers. The people who have radically transformed their relationships did not do it by becoming perfect communicators overnight. They did one thing first. They stopped listening to respond and started listening to understand. That single shift, that one fundamental change in orientation. People report that within the first week of practicing it consistently, the atmosphere in their home or workplace changes. Conversations that used to spiral into arguments start resolving themselves. People start coming to them more, opening up more, trusting more. Here is exactly how to do it. When someone is talking to you, your only job in that moment is to understand their emotional experience. Not to fix it, not to counter it, not to relate it back to something that happened to you. Just understand it. And then reflect it back. Say something like, "It sounds like that was really overwhelming for you." Or "I can see why that would make you feel that way." Watch what happens. Watch someone who is bracing for a debate suddenly soften. Watch their shoulders drop. Watch their eyes change. You are not agreeing with them. You are witnessing them. And being witnessed is one of the most powerful human needs that almost nobody is meeting for the people around them. Now here is where it gets even more powerful. Vulnerability. Most people are terrified of it. And they should be, because vulnerability done wrong can shatter trust. But vulnerability done right, with the right people at the right moments, it is the fastest path to deep and lasting connection that exists. Studies in interpersonal psychology show that when one person shares something real, and the other person responds without judgment, the bond formed in those minutes is stronger than bonds formed over years of surface-level interaction. Years versus minutes. That is not a small thing. The reason most people never experience this is because they have been burned before. They opened up and someone used it against them. Or they were dismissed. Or they were made to feel dramatic or weak. So they sealed that part of themselves away. And slowly their relationships became transactional. Comfortable maybe. But hollow. If that resonates with you, you are not broken. You are just protected. And protection that once saved you can eventually suffocate you. Here's the pattern interrupt nobody sees coming in their own relationships. The moments you feel most disconnected from someone are almost always the moments they need you most and cannot say it. And the moments you feel most disconnected are the moments you need connection most and cannot say it either. Two people sitting in silent pain, each one waiting for the other to break through first, each one convinced the other does not care. That is not a love problem. That is a communication problem. And it is solvable. One habit that takes less than 90 seconds and has been shown to dramatically shift relationship satisfaction is what communication experts call the intentional check-in. Not asking how was your day. That question is dead. It gets dead answers. Instead ask, what was the hardest moment of your day? Or what is one thing you wish had gone differently? These questions open doors. They invite the real person, not the socially acceptable version, into the conversation. And when people feel safe enough to bring their real selves to you, that is when you become irreplaceable to them. The most connected relationships in the world are not the ones without conflict. They are the ones where conflict is handled with a fundamental respect for each other's humanity. The difference between a fight that brings couples or friends closer and a fight that chips away at the foundation is not the topic. It is the tone. It is whether you are attacking the person or addressing the issue. One word can be the difference between someone feeling seen and someone feeling attacked. One pause before you speak. One breath. One moment of asking yourself, what do I actually want this conversation to accomplish? People who master this do not just have better relationships. They have better careers. They get promoted faster because they are the ones people trust with real information. They have better health outcomes because their stress levels are lower. They live longer. This is not abstract. A Harvard study that tracked people across decades found that the quality of relationships was the single biggest predictor of health and happiness. Not wealth, not career success, not intelligence, relationships. And relationships are built conversation by conversation, moment by moment, habit by habit. The cost of not changing this is not just feeling lonely sometimes. It is a life where the people around you never fully know you, where you carry more than you should have to carry alone, where opportunities for joy pass by unnoticed because the channel of genuine connection is closed. That cost adds up in ways that are hard to measure until they become impossible to ignore. You have already started changing just by being here. The fact that you watched this far means you are not the kind of person who accepts disconnection as permanent. You are the kind of person who looks for real answers. And real answers exist. The transformation people experience when they genuinely commit to changing their communication habits is not small. It is life-altering. It affects everything. For those of you who are truly ready to go deeper, who want structured guidance, proven frameworks, and the kind of support that makes lasting change not just possible but inevitable, we have programs linked down below in the video description. This is not for everyone. Most people will watch this video, nod along, and go back to their patterns by tomorrow. But some of you know this is your moment. You feel it right now. Do not let that feeling pass without acting on it. Everything you want from your relationships is closer than you think. The only thing standing between you and it is the decision to move toward it now.